This is a snuff cover, and so when and this is the most original. See how old it is, and this is more.
Isabel played a lead role in the exhibit organization, including having people make their own cones.
You know, when we were doing that exhibit, and my husband said he likes to see jingles over here because your heart is over here, he said. And, you know, it's a healing dress.
The Nokimiquaning jingle dress origin rose during the time of heightened colonial oppression of indigenous culture and spirituality.
We did almost shy away or afraid. I remember being, afraid of them taking away the power or whatever. And because there was also Mitewin ceremonies, and I know that one for sure was lost for years. It's just finally coming back.
For many decades, powwows and dancing were banned under the Indian Act from 1876. Over time, from protests, including from Indigenous veterans, the federal government made amendments to the Indian Act, but it wasn't until 1951 that the ban on cultural ceremonies was removed.
Do you know whose dresses these are? Or?
Yeah, so these ones we don't. We don't have any backstory, unfortunately.
So how did they come to the museum?
So these ones, I'm not exactly sure. There were some that were in the collection, I don't think these three, but at least one in the collection of Frank Edwards. So he was an Indian agent here. So when he passed away in 1940, he left his collection to the library, and it's at the library for some time, and ended up at the museum in 1964. So there's at least one from that collection.
Oh, wow.
But other than that, we don't know. So we're stewards of them, but we'd like to learn more, and who knows what the future will hold.
I think this would be a beautiful opportunity to have multiple generations to learn about this person and the context of how they've impacted their communities and families and multiple generations, and it could be done in a good way through ceremony, through healing of the jingle dress.
Rhonda says that she was inspired to paint a jingle dress mural that was also featured in the Kenora jingle dress exhibit. She says she modeled it after a photo with her family members, including Maggie.
Especially in the conversation, truth or reconciliation, like why is dancing and preservation of culture important?
Mm-hmm. A lot of our language is so immersed in the ceremonies, the songs, and that was carried through those kinds of hardships that were happening, where things were limited and they weren't allowed to do so much.
Maggie White passed October 21st, 1992 at the age of 69. But the jingle dress lives on. With the rise of Indigenous regalia fashion, the jingles are constant reminders of family and community resistance and persistence to preserve the right to spiritual cultural healing, as seen in vocalizations or sasaquit.